You are listening to Small Farms Radio.
Welcome to Small Farms Radio. I'm your host, Jamie Johnson. Today we're going to be talking with beginning farmer Brett Grant about his vision for farms to be spaces of healing, and about how he's bringing this dream to life in upstate New York. I'm here with my colleagues, Casey and Violet. Welcome to the show, both of you. Let's just start off with some introductions.
I'm Violet Stone, the Growing Together project coordinator at the Cornell Small Farms program.
I'm Casey Deemer, the communications manager for the Cornell Small Farms program.
And so how did you guys meet Brett? How did he come into your lives?
Brett and I connected through the Northeast SARE, Sustainable Ag Research and Education Organization. Brett was working as a volunteer for the Centering and Belonging initiative that Northeast SARE is hosting. And so we connected around the intersection of diversity and inclusion and also wellness. And the first conversation I had with Brett, the first thing I noticed about him was that he was not afraid of pause in conversation, which is very unusual to have a first encounter with someone include space and moments of silence. And so right away, I knew that I wanted to get to know him better.
And so how did you come up with the idea to go and visit him at his farm and record a conversation?
That first conversation, we connected about so many common values in our work. And I think what stood out to me was mainly this vision that he had for Hidden Pearls Healing Center, because my work is so centered around wellness and yes, I'll say healing. I think it's brave in this world to use the word healing, particularly this academic world, but his vision to have a place where people of all ages can come and put their hands in the dirt and find connection to one another in the earth, that's something that's really drawing to me as well.
And I'd add that we're always looking for folks who are approaching farming and the relationship with farming and the land in a different way. I think especially as more new people enter into engaging with agriculture in some capacity, there are all of these new angles that somebody can take. And Brett just had a really unique vision for what he wanted to do with this land that he now has.
Can you talk more about his vision for his farm?
I'll just start by saying Brett has incredible courage. He is someone who had a dream and who spent years in academic life reading and learning and visioning. And despite having no formal background or training in farming or family history in farming, he bought land. And so his vision for the farm is, two parts. He'd like the land to offer a space for folks that are looking to grow fruits and vegetables and sell them, but there's also this component of it being a place of freedom. That was one of the words that he used. Is he has had this personal passion for education and how it can often be overly structured and overly confined, and so for it to be literally like a learning playground for kids to come and laugh and learn and experiment and taste and smell without feeling like they had mentors and teachers who were overly regulating what they did. So that was really special. But I think what struck me the most about Brett's vision was that he wanted it to be a place where people could experience stillness. He mentioned how stillness has played such an important role in his own healing journey and him resisting fear in his life. And so that I really appreciated him naming that.
So what was it like going to Brett's farm?
You could feel the beauty there. The land is sloped, and it descends quickly down into a river valley, and there's a lot of lush trees and plants that are growing in the river bottoms. There was birds circling, and there was barns, and there's a swimming pool, which was a really unique feature, an indoor swimming pool for some of Brett's visions for the land, to include play and swimming and healing all together. There was a big old farmhouse and a few barns, some solar panels. The land, to me, it seemed like it was awaiting something. We walked into the farmhouse, and the farmhouse looked as if the last owners had just walked out and locked the door. It was completely empty. There was no furniture. There was no paintings, no rugs, no lamps, and it just seems like a place awaiting adventure and community.
Can you tell us who you are and what you do?
I'm right now I am a postdoctoral associate in the College of Human Ecology at Cornell University, and I work in a lab called the Nutrition, Liberation, Food Sovereignty, and Justice Lab. And that work is really an extension of my own research around holistic education and working with middle school students and high school students around learning, but around also learning in our environments and learning outside of the classroom. And to me, again, health is at the core of that. So that's why food plays such a central role in terms of like learning how to grow your food, learning how to be in a relationship with food, learning the beauty of food, rather than having this transactional experience that we have with food, where food is just something to kind of get us through a day. That's kind of what I'm searching for in my education and in my profession. I'll start a position in August at the College of Staten Island, which is part of the City University of New York system. And that's really another extension to keep learning and to keep searching for ways to tie in this experience on the farm into education. Like, that's the question I'm asking. How can I bring these two together?
Thank you. Can you tell us where we are right now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We are in Broome County, Shenango Forks, upstate New York, and I think this is the southern tier, they call it, of New York. And it's about an hour away from Ithaca, about an hour away from Syracuse, 20 minutes away from Binghamton. And depending on which way you go, it's about 3 hours from Manhattan. When I drive from Manhattan here, it's 3 hours, but when I drive from here to Manhattan, it can be like 5 to 6 hours. And to me, it's the way that I go. I like to go the no tolls way. So I like to twist and turn through all the back roads, and I love it. But yeah, that's where we are.
You mentioned what this side of the road might be named, what you've been calling it.
Oh yeah. This side is called Hidden Pearls Healing Center, and there are a couple of verses in the Quran that mentions hidden pearls, and when I read that, it just stuck with me. I was like, wow, this is really, really beautiful. And I already feel like upstate New York is like a hidden gem, and like the more I learn about this farm, it's like all these little hidden pearls. And then someone the other day was like, oh yeah, I didn't even come up with this. They're like, if you want to do chickens for eggs, I understand the hidden pearls name because that's a cool creative way to name the eggs. I hadn't thought of that, and I was like, oh, that is kind of cool. But yeah, it's more kind of just grounding it in this spiritual wonder and awe of what's already here, what I'm bound to discover here, and what's yet to emerge.
I guess I'm just wondering, like, what were these gifts in you that you came into the world with that led to this beautiful manifestation?
Wow, that's such a beautiful question. Thank you. I think growing up in San Francisco, I really do. Like, that is such a beautiful city where I had oceans and mountains and rivers and lakes, and gave me this sense of awe and wonder that just never went away. And I also think like studying, living abroad for a little bit in college helped that. I lived in Europe for a little bit, and that also brought me into this whole world of like possibilities and holistic education, of just learning a language in a different country and experiencing people, and just that whole thing drives the way that I think about learning and life. And I just carry that with me. So like the whole vision of the farm is like, yeah, let this be a center of like some international learning and inviting people to gather and share, and let people choose where they want to be and see what emerges. Like that, I think that sense of emergence is really important. Like what can emerge if you just kind of help facilitate, help create like an environment, you know?
Yeah. Sense of emergence. I love that.
Yeah, and that comes from Adrienne Marie Brown, right?
I love her.
Yeah.
Yes. Not surprised to learn we have that in common.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing that the roots in this materialization of all of this went way back to, like, at what point in your life did you have the beginning, the whisperings of this dream arise?
You know, I think for me, it was, I can think back to like going with my dad to Mount Pleasant, Texas, and rural areas. And I remember like we won one of those trips. We went walking on, I think, some family-owned land, and we were walking around, and it was just like tall grass, like on that side. But I remember just being out there and, you know, just a child with my dad and I think some of our relatives. But that had to do something, because, you know, just being out there, I had to do something. And then like, for me, it kind of materialized when I was in college and I started studying Booker T. Washington and the work that was happening at Tuskegee. And it was all about how the curriculum at Tuskegee was based on the needs of the community, the surrounding community, and those were agricultural needs. And so it was all based around this education of the head, the hands, and the heart. And that's the way I think about holistic education. That, I mean, you'll see that all throughout my dissertation. So that really kind of informs the way that I think. And I was like, when I finished, I was like, I don't want to just do this theoretically. Like, I want to put this into practice. And I think also because as my parents get older and I see my dad got sick, my mom her health is failing. I really want to try to kind of address this through education, food and nutrition, and all these things that I've always been talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love the hands and the heart idea. It's so interesting how education has moved into these like brick and mortar structures, and there's very little like opportunities to learn experientially and to heal. What does that look like for you? I mean, the healing aspect, like what do you want to share more about how
Absolutely. No, I mean, like, it's a slowing down. It's taking time to just observe. It's being patient. Everything that our world is not right now. You know, everything is rushed and urgent, and it's like enjoying a meal. It's like really enjoying conversation. And I want to create that or be, you know, experience that here. And so the healing aspect is like the core of it. Kind of like what we were talking about. Like when I visit these farms, I'm just like, I don't see the healing. I don't feel it, you know? I see like a bunch of tires and machinery, but it's like, you know, where is that, like, and people working, you know, and I understand it's not to diminish that, you know, people have to make a living, but it's like, how do we create these healing centers, these natural healing centers? You know, like, how do we just really enjoy that beauty? Like when you heard the birds and that, how do we translate that into this economic life of ours, you know? Those are the questions that I'm really asking. Like, I don't want to see a bunch of tractors and stuff over here. My neighbors do that, you know, the field right over there, it's some kind of monocrop field that's every year, and it's fine. That's how they make their living. But it's a vision that's different from the one that I have. You know, like I want to see animals over here. I want the birds to flourish. I want some food. You know, I want people to be on the land and enjoying it. You know, conversations flourishing. You know, with fires, and that's my idea of healing.
That's so beautiful. And it's like, it's been such a long journey from those first moments of being in Texas and being in the grass, noticing the wild grass, and to arriving here. Like, tell us more about how this connection came to be, how you met the previous owners, and what drew you to the landscape initially.
Absolutely. And, you know, for me, it didn't matter. Like, I realized it didn't matter where I was. Like when I was in Minneapolis, I was looking for land there with a group of other people. And that's what kind of mattered, was like the people I was with. And, you know, that was a good learning experience. We weren't able to get any land in Minneapolis. I know some people who were able to get land, but then when I got to New York, first I was in the city, and then I was just like, let me just start driving upstate, you know, since I have my car. And every time I would drive into New York, before I got to the city, I always felt like, what is this? Like I would just kind of glimpse upstate New York. And I was like, this looks, these big granite rocks, as I'm driving in. I was like, what is this? I need to come back up here and explore this. And so I started driving. You know, I started like, I think went to land.com and looking up different farms, and visited some farms and saw some beautiful ones. And then I found this one site that was specific for farmers who were selling land to people who wanted to farm. And it was either through leasing or you could own. And I don't know how I found this site, but I found it, and this place was on there. And I visited and just started a relationship with the owners, and I just fell in love with it. I mean, the hills and the pool, it just had, when I was thinking about that healing center, it had most of everything that I was thinking about. Like the pool, I grew up swimming. You know, my mom made sure my sister and I would take swimming lessons every Saturday growing up. So that was that, you know. The yoga, I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, this is like a hot yoga studio. Then the pastures and the hillsides and the solar panels, like everything was kind of falling into my vision, like of this eco-friendly, eco-efficient farm, you know, and then they had the goats and the barns, and I was like, yeah. And I just kind of started off as like, well, let me just see if I can get this place, you know, and I just kept on going, and you wouldn't believe the obstacles I had to face, because like, as I was about to get this place, my postdoc position at Columbia ended. And I just had a vision. I was like, well, Another thing that I liked about this place was that it was close to Syracuse, it was close to SUNY Binghamton, it was close to Cornell. And so I was like, wow, what if I could get a position at Cornell and then put together this farm? It was just a vision, and it happened. You know, I ended up getting this postdoc at Cornell, like in a completely serendipitous way, just not the regular way. You know, like I found something online, I inquired about it, that wasn't available, but this other position was. And it was just like, what? Wow. And so, but I really just fell in love with upstate New York. Like, I didn't think anything could be more beautiful than greater Minnesota when I was in Minneapolis, because greater Minnesota was gorgeous. But upstate New York, I just was like, this is amazing.
And like, what an experience to start in Northern California, and the vision has progressed. You're in touch with people for the Shenango Forks Cooperative, is that what the...
Oh yeah.
Tell us more about how that's been progressing.
That's been cool. I've been working with a group out of actually Pennsylvania called the Keystone Development Center. Okay. And they help people form cooperatives. And I forgot how I found them. I think I found them through something. Somebody was telling me about cooperatives, and I ended up just reaching out to them, and they felt good. And so we've been working together for a little over a year now. And we're just taking our time, trying to write our bylaws and really understand how the cooperative is supposed to work. That's going to be really difficult, because now you're coming from me to this we, paradigm, and working with a group of people under democratic, control and democratic governance. And so really trying to like articulate that and figure that out, I think that's going to be a challenge. But I think that's the only way to really do farming. You can't farm by yourself, like you have to do it in a community-driven way. And actually, one of the things that drove me to really form that cooperative is when I was in Minneapolis, there was an elder who owned some land in Wisconsin. And his land was like 2 hours outside of the city, and it was beautiful. It was like 10 acres. But he always had trouble getting people to help him. He wanted all this help, but he didn't want to give up any of his land. And so people were like, well, if you're not going to give up any of your land, we're not going to help you. And I saw that. And so I was like, okay, I see this is a problem for people. Even though he was willing to let people utilize the land and grow stuff and make money off the land, he would not give up rights to the land. So when I got the land, I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to not run into that same sort of issue. And I think the cooperative way just feels like the way to do it, So that's kind of what's driving that. And like I said, because across the street is seller financed, it's easier to do it a cooperative on that side than over here, which is like a 30-year mortgage. Yeah. And so for here, it's just the vision is a little bit different on this side than that side.
Yeah. It's just so amazing how you've had this passionate dream and all of these things have fallen into place. Like, what about have there been any really hard moments or any,
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just like I put myself just back into kindergarten again, like I do not have the skills to do, like to fix a tractor, to fix a lawnmower, to know how to plant, to put up fencing. It's just like you said, it's that twinkle. Like it's like a childlike wonder and awe that's in me, that's like, I don't care. I'm gonna, like, all that's technical stuff. You can learn that stuff. Yeah. There are other people around who know that stuff. The universe will connect you with those people and you'll figure that out. Like, all you have to do is set yourself in motion and not give into the fear, But yeah, it's hard, like learning about mortgages and a cooperative and the business side and forming an LLC and like all these, and the taxes and the implications, and dang, how am I gonna, and then, you know, my mom in San Francisco is aging, and my sister, we were just talking for hours last night about how she's taking care of mom and she's trying to take care of her job. And it's like all these things just kind of just, you can't prepare for it, you know? And so just not knowing how to deal and how to, you know, having the resources, like we're not rich, you know, so I don't come from, I don't have like huge amounts of money. It's just like, I have a vision and, you know, the desire to do something and the belief that, okay, I'll learn these things along the way. But yeah, it's scary, you know, as you meet people and things that I want to get done on the house, you know, and people will come in and, okay, you ready to do it? And it's like charging these exorbitant prices. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know where to begin. Like, if this is, am I paying too much for this? You know, so no, let me just get a quote right now and take some time and figure this out, you know, and just keep going slow.
Yeah. You just said something that struck me. It's to not give in to fear and to keep a twinkle. How do you not give in to fear?
I think through prayer. Yeah. Prayer, fasting, just being quiet. Yeah, those are real serious practices for me, especially fasting. Fasting is like really kind of grounds me in a spiritual practice. Not fasting for kind of exercise reasons or, you know, trying to lose weight, but like to really gain clarity, some spiritual clarity is really helpful for me. Because I don't know, I find that it does something to the fear. Like I think some fear is necessary, but it's like when fear paralyzes you. Yeah. Like, and I also see so much in my own family and in my own community what fear does to people, like being paralyzed by fear. And like people who never tried something because they were too afraid, you know, and it's just like, I don't want to live that way, you know. I want to, while I'm able to right now, I want to do what I can do, you know, while I can do it. I don't want to live. It's like life is an adventure. It's like when I put myself in this place, the adventure began again, you know, and that's what was like the child came alive again, because I had written a dissertation about this without knowing that that's what I was writing about. I had talked about it, but I was talking about it to the point I got tired of hearing myself talk about it because I was trying to convince myself to do it. But I was just hoping that somebody would say, yeah, go do it. And I never heard that. And finally, it was when I turned 50, I think I was like, okay, I got to stop talking. I was like, I had the resources. And I was like, yep, I'm 50 now, and I've done as much preparation, theoretical preparation for it, jump into it, you know? And I don't know. I mean, I did it.
Wow,
I
you
really
did
it.
Oh, I would love to hear thank you for sharing that. That was just so powerful. And I would love to hear about a moment that you've had on this farm, the moment of stillness or prayer that you've like shared with this land. You had a moment like that?
Yeah, it was yesterday. I just, I was up there where we walked, where there's this kind of a fire pit. And I lit a fire and I was just still. I was just quiet, you know, and it's just listening, you know, I was just still. And it was just so, like I don't know the words for it. It was just so beautiful.
You have such an amazing vision for this place, like school children coming and learning with their hands, heads, and hearts, and healing center with the pool and the cooperative. What would you envision, like if you had a dream for 5 years from now, if we came back, what would this place look like?
Oh my gosh, it would just be flowing. Like, it would just be aesthetically beautiful. You'd be able to smell food coming out of oozing out of the house. You know, just the smells. But to me, that's like what a farm is supposed to smell, the good food. And like, there would just be different projects going on, and it would feel good. You know, like, that's the thing. Like, I visited a farm school recently, and it had everything. Like, it had the row gardens, it had all the equipment, it had the dairy cows, it had the students, but something didn't feel the way I want this place to feel. It felt too controlled. It was like, I was like, okay, they got everything, they got the students visiting, but it doesn't feel free. That's the thing. It's gotta feel free, you know, like freedom.
Yep.
Like, you gotta feel that way. That's what I want it to feel like. And it's hard because I even like the initial conversations I've had with just some of the different programs, people can't understand the co-designing element of what I'm trying to do. Like, I'll say, yeah, here are some of the projects, but let's invite the students in, let's invite the teachers in, and let's co-design it. They don't understand. I don't want to say they don't understand it, but that's been very difficult to accept, because it's not boxed in. It's not a curriculum that's already designed and here it is.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we can build this together, you know? And that whole way of wanting to do it really comes from one of my mentors, who I used to work with, who has this book called Liberating Teaching and Learning. And that's the whole foundation of it, is that we co-design. That's what it means to liberate teaching and learning, is that you don't have to stand here as the teacher and plan everything. If you have a room of 25 students, look at these as co-facilitators to help you co-facilitate a learning experience. And so that's kind of what drives the way that I'm thinking about this.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Brett.
you.
This has
Thank
been
you so much
awesome.
for spending so much time and
Oh.
your questions
Aw.
and listening. And yeah, thank you. This
Oh,
is
well, you were so
awesome.
generous to offer such beautiful wisdom, and I feel like so many people are going to benefit from hearing your voice.
So he's in this like vision stage, and he's made some moves. He's bought this land. Why do you think it's important to share this story now? Like, why not wait 5 years until he's sort of achieved what his vision is? Like, why now?
I think my sense of Brett is that he is someone who is frustrated and fed up with theorizing and planning. I think he's at a point in his life where he feels it so deeply and passionately in his heart, and he knows that simply having the landscape, and I say that metaphorically, having the open landscape, he knows that it'll draw it in. He's someone that has very little farming skills, but he knows that he'll find the people that have their own skills and gifts, and he'll create the community that'll come and make soup in the kitchen and fill the farmhouse with smells of delicious food and show him the herbs and sit by the fire with him. So I think the time is just now. It was just right. And he believes so fiercely in his intentions that no lack of experience, or the fact that he is a person of color in a very white rural community, he's not letting any traditional barriers that society might label as impositions, or he's not letting any of that stop him.
I think my big takeaway, which Violet's already shared, is the fearlessness that Brett seems to bring to the work. And not that there aren't things that are scary and unknown, but that he doesn't treat any of them as a barrier. And I think that's really beautiful, and there's a lot of I think a lot of growth that he's had through his own life to get to that point, and something that he, I think, will share with anyone that collaborates with him on these two farm projects.
And that's all for today, folks. If you like our show and you want to hear more, make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Just a reminder that the views and opinions expressed in our podcast episodes are those of the speakers. Small Farms Radio welcomes anyone who has a story to tell. Also, we'd love to hear what you think of the show. So give us a call at 607-255-4455. Or you can email us at smallfarmsprogram@cornell.edu. See you next time.